Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Can't believe we are closing such an how would I describe it? Such a loaded 2 weeks on a Monday. But it is Monday, and it's also the end of an era, but also the beginning of another one, I guess. So, welcome everybody to Monday's podcast as we put a wrap on what has been a very interesting time. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, please. And we'll get the show started. Welcome, everyone. How is everyone? Was everyone watching live? Were you just watching on social? Did you just not watch at all and you're just here to listen to the podcast and see or hear from me, Baron, and everybody else what happened? How did you find it? I have to give a thumbs up to the establishment. I mean, it was quite the parade. I got to give them that. Nobody queues like the United Kingdom, and nobody holds a parade like the United Kingdom, except for maybe North Korea. And it was actually pretty epic, I have to say. Like watching all the parade and the military, the guards, the colors, the everything of it all. But of course, we know behind all of that there are higher powers, and that's ultimately what all the pageantry is for. And watching all of that pageantry, it was quite interesting to actually stop and think about the fact that this institution, for all of its flex, the one thing that has scared them the most over the last 5-6 years is the person on the screen. And Meghan terrified them so much that they launched a whole campaign against this woman. So something to think about while we're watching and seeing all of the flexing today. Yes, Meghan looked amazing. No surprises. A lot of people actually predicted that she would wear a cape, and they were right. Simple, as she always does. Very elegant, fitted. The cape seemed to have a personality of its own, just giving us a nice, blow there with the wind. The hat, beautifully structured. Hair in a bun. And just very respectful and muted. Unlike some people who had birds' nests on their heads and, oh gosh, clusters of pearls taken from Queenie's jewelry box. I mean, her body's barely cold and it seems her jewelry box has been raided. This is probably how I would have shown up. Full Union Jack and Diana print. This would have been my outfit to the funeral. I don't know who made this. It looks like something Vivienne Westwood would have made. But I want to find this. Like get a seamstress to make it for me. And of course, we know that all of the vicious attacks this week, or a bulk of it at least, was because of this person on the screen, Jonathan Rothermere. And I believe that this gremlin on the screen is going to become the center of attention more and more, probably more than what he'd want to be. And of course, he is the owner of Associated Press, which owns the Daily Felt. And Meghan mentioned him in her winning statement when she won her court case. And despite everything that they threw at this woman and her husband this week, she was gracious, she was elegant, She kept it together, and she was there ultimately, I think, for her husband, to support her husband and give her own condolences, because regardless of what we think about the Queen, Meghan seemed to like her. And history will remember this, the way she conducted herself during the mourning period with the crowds, the way she was able to connect with people still. And it seems like Harry, Meghan, and the corgis, who looked utterly depressed today, were the only ones that seemed to have, a deep, deep sense of emotion for their granny, aside from maybe the grandchildren. Now, initially, it was reported yesterday that the kids would walk in formation. And I think I misunderstood when I initially read that report. I thought that the kids were going to walk in procession with the grown-ups behind the coffin through the crowd, which would have just been utterly disgusting. But that wasn't actually the case. The formation that was published was just them walking into the abbey. So not the traumatic experience for the Cam kids as for William and Harry. At least that's one place where history didn't repeat itself. But just to show you some pictures, there's Meghan on the side profile. The hat was very similar to the one that she wore at the Jubilee. The dress, I believe, was Stella McCartney, and it was very similar to the one that she wore to the Queen's birthday celebration. So definitely wore this dress purposefully, basically a black version of that dress. And I believe she was also wearing the earrings that the Queen gave to her as a gift during their first engagement. We also have a Diana's View Part 2, so from above, very similar to the wedding picture, where Harry and Meghan were intertwined in the carriage, and it's actually like their hands make a heart shape. I did a whole video about that picture. It's a very beautiful picture. But we had Diana's View Part 2. Small pictures of Harry, and yes, Meghan did shed a tear. I don't believe these people deserve her tears, but ultimately, as far as Harry and Meghan are concerned, they seem to like Lizzie. Even in the Oprah interview, despite everything that the media says, Meghan has never said anything but nice things about the Queen. And same with Harry, he's always called her his commander-in-chief. And in his interview with James Corden, he said that they Zoom called regularly. And so I'm not surprised that really they're the only two that really showed a deep, deep sense of emotion today. The others just did not. It's almost like they showed up for a fashion show and not a funeral. More pictures of Harry in the military march. Not in his uniform, of course, but he stood out. Do you know what? The fact that he's not wearing a uniform actually just makes him stand out. So, it was a silly move, I think, by the royals to not let him wear his uniform, because it just makes him stand out. Like, he looks kingly here. Also, I did find a dupe straight away of Meghan's dress, and I posted it on the community tab. So if you want a cheaper version, I think this is about £22, and this is from Boohoo. So if you want a cheaper version, I'll go to the community tab and you can buy that. More pics of the march. And let's see if I've got any more pictures for you. This is just for those of you who haven't really seen pictures today. Okay, I think that's mostly it with the pics. Oh, here is Meghan with all the other royal women. I believe Kate was actually wearing the Queen's necklace, the 3-strand. And yeah, somebody posted, does anyone seriously believe that Meghan could make this person cry? just the face of thunder throughout the whole thing. Okay, so I'll go to your comments and then we will go to some of the other stories that came through during the day. And there's the corgis looking very miserable. Animals know when their owners are gone, so they'll probably realize that Lizzie hasn't come back for like 11 days. Hello, hello, hello. If you're just joining the chat, thumbs up, please. Deborah, this is an example of what's gone wrong in the world. Family jealousy mean who's the fairest of them, on and on. Meghan, gorgeous, and Harry, I love. She's a diamond. Well, you know, the way that she's carried herself this 11 days, oh, it's just, it's been exhausting to watch. California girl, I hope Harry and Meghan appreciate us. Well, do you know what? I feel like Harry and Meghan have the most interesting fan base ever. Because as much as we love them, I would say that most Sussex fans are not royalists. We don't really like the other members of the royal family. And I would say that a lot of Sussex fans, because being Meghan's fans, a lot of them are black and brown, do not like the Queen. So it's a very interesting fan base to have. So I'm sure they appreciate the support to some extent, but they probably find it weird that we don't like some of their family members. But then I guess, you know, if I, I guess they'd have to kind of expect that as well if they also openly talk about some of the things that happen within the family. Because naturally, when you like two people and somebody, you know, comes out and says, "Well, I was hurt and this happened," well, you know, people are going to look at whoever you're talking about with a side eye. Yes, Ian Adams. Meghan looked amazing as usual. Tailoring was on point. Yes, California girl. Joe Biden's motorcade really stood out. Really, really stood out. Honestly, when I heard that the other world leaders were going to be on like buses, I was like, is this going to turn into the plot line of what's that movie, London's Falling? Where like they try to um kidnap world leaders. Cian Adams, the funeral taught me something. There was at least respected, if not loved. Charles and the rest do not have the magic. Harry does. They better apologize. Well, here's the thing, right? I feel like the Queen, as an individual, became the monarchy and she became bigger than the monarchy. So now that she's gone, Charles has to fill the shoes of someone who became bigger than the institution itself. And so, how does he do that when he still has the stain of what he did to Diana, when he's got a queen consort who people still side eye, and when in the first week he threw a tantrum over a pen? So the reign of King Charles is going to be fascinating to watch. I never really followed the other royals, even when I started this podcast. Like, for those of you who've been watching for the last year, when do I ever cover the other royals' day-to-day outings and, you know, waving and ribbon cutting PR photo shoots, other than when it's something like something crazy happens, like with the Caribbean tour? I never do. And I feel like with Charles's reign, I'm gonna be so tempted to actually watch their every single move now going forward, but for all the wrong reasons. Because if we can throw a tantrum over a pen on day 3, what more is there to come? Going to be entertainment. Karen M, did you see the guard salute Harry when they left? Yes, and I think I saw Meghan's smiling at him. That was a very sweet moment. I'm just so glad that there was someone there that showed them respect. Cian Adams, I watched it on MSNBC and I was annoyed. It seemed they worked very hard not to show Harry and Meghan. This is why I said actually watch it on Sky. I do think Sky in general had the best coverage today. I don't even think the BBC hacked it very well. Yes, Meghan looked absolutely gorgeous, Shan Martin. Very, very well put together. Sugar Queen, did you see the pain on Harry's face when he entered the church? Yeah, I mean, for sure he is mourning. Deborah, they will appreciate normal life more now than ever to walk behind your family members who have no souls. I mean, the royal life is just no life. Just the whole idea of, public family grieving, and it's the crazy thing is that it's all for the illusion of the people. As when I say the people, I mean the populace, but at what cost to the people within the institution? And this is one of the things that Megan said when it becomes more about how it looks as opposed to how it feels. And I just have to wonder, even for the spellbound people watching this, like why do you want to see this family grieving like this? Why? Like what is lacking in your life that you feel that um you have to watch a family partake in this public grieving like this? Because I just don't think it's healthy. I'm just gonna scroll through your comments before we continue. Gosh, 1,500 of you in the chat. Um, I don't even know how to put on slow mo. Veronica, this was like a royal tour funeral. I did not watch. I listened on Twitter Spaces to the comments. Yeah, there was a Twitter Space going all day. So well done to the squaddies who ran that because they did a very, very good job. Miss P talked, watched on Sky News. It was overload. My brain was frazzled by the end. ZMAC, you didn't watch a second of it. Well, thank you so much to you for coming over to the channel to get the pictures and the commentary. At Harlem, you caught bits and pieces of it. Yeah, it was very, very long. I think for me, like after the main service and I saw Harry and Meghan, I was pretty much done. I went to my mum's house, and then I watched some of the procession going to Windsor, and then I was just done. It was a very, very long, long show. Yeah, Lady Bird. I think a lot of people were only watching for the Sussexes. There was this interesting moment. I'm surprised the media is even picking up on this, but Kate was about to go down into her seat, but Harry and Meghan were sitting. They were sitting in the second row on the far end, so they had to go through first, and then William like pulled Kate back and said, "No, they have to go through first." So there was that funny little awkward moment. Oh, and Rose and Penny were also there, both looking very lovely. Penny with a bow hat, Rose looking very sleek as always, and a brooch. How lovely they both looked. Let me read your comments before we continue. Yes, Deborah, less is more. I like Meghan's outfit. It was very classy, yes. Welcome, welcome if you're just joining us. Lucy, MSNBC mentioned Africa and India want their diamonds back. Well, their leaders are in the UK now. They can go ask, or just walk into the museum and take them. Sharon, I chose not to watch American coverage as they gossip too much. Sky News and UK are owned by an American. No, doesn't Murdoch still own Sky News, or did he sell it? They did go to the evening ceremony thingy. There was like, I don't even know how many ceremony thingies there were today. So I'm assuming they're either gonna either hightail it out straight away or go tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'll be very, very surprised if they stay for the rest of the 7 days here. Very surprised. Gail Lewis, I felt like there was instruction not to show Meghan and Harry. Cameras are told not to focus on them. Well, I mean, if they want their money shots, they have to. Compton looking like a Independence Day parade. Well, they've been practicing for how long? For decades, and they probably, uh, kind of update protocol depending on, I'm sure the protocol wouldn't have been the same 50 years ago as it is now, but this is what they've been practicing and waiting for a very long time, and they pulled it off. There was one moment where they were lifting the coffin like up the stairs, and I was like, "Oh my god, if they drop it," because you could tell that it's very, very heavy. Nelda, you didn't watch it; you were exhausted. Cian Adams, I watched to support Harry and Meghan, but as a student of history, watching it was incredible. But I did feel like it was crazy, especially what people suffer in the UK. Yeah, um, and I do feel as though this will reignite monarchist sentiment, at least in the short term. But it's up to Charles to keep that flame alive, and I don't know how good of a job he's going to do with that. In some internet funnies, there were some people who complained that Channel 5 showed the Emoji Movie instead of broadcasting the Queen's funeral, as if BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, and everybody else wasn't streaming it all day. Some people couldn't get enough and wanted it on Channel 5 as well. Also, in the queue, so the queue actually closed at 6:30 UK time this morning. It was going all the way up until then. My mum and my sister did actually go. They queued up at 11 at night on Friday, and they managed to get to the front of the queue by about 2 p.m. So literally like the whole night, whole morning, and half the afternoon. But there was one gentleman who was arrested in the Queen's queue because he planned to shout, "Get out of your effing coffin." Who let their crazy uncle out the house? Apparently, there were some ladies who overheard him saying his plan to himself, and then the police arrested him and took him out the queue. So yeah, I don't know who let their crazy uncle out the house, but apparently that happened. Tony, hi Anne. I'd like to clarify the current King of Spain, Philippe, is not the corrupt one. It's his father, Joan, the previous king. Yeah, a couple of you commented on that on the last video. Yes, I did mean the previous king, not the current one. But at the end of the day, it's the same institution, and I I don't know if I believe that the current king isn't involved in some kind of corruption or doesn't know anything about what was going on or shouldn't take some accountability. I guess time will tell. But yes, when I mentioned the Spanish king, I did mean it was the previous king who went abroad. But was he not at the funeral today? Someone in the comments, was he not there today anyway? Cheryl, I will forever refer to William and Kate as the other two, completely out of disrespect. Well, the BBC said it themselves. Ray, I stayed up until 3 a.m. I'm on the West Coast. I kept going to your Twitter page to see pictures you were going to post. Well, once I saw Meghan, I was like, okay, I can go to sleep. Sorry, I wasn't actually that good on Twitter today as I have been the last couple of days. I just think at this point I was just tired and exhausted. But thank you for those of you who did follow on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's see. Gracie, you're glad it's over with. Tony, you didn't watch it at all. Oro, Queenie is all over the media, and I think she will be at least for another week. Maria, I didn't watch, just here to listen to update. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Benjamin, 7 more days. Well, that's for the family mourning, not for the public mourning. So basically, they get 7 days off. Ethne, I've been alive for both, and Diana had more people in the parks at her funeral. Yeah, but I think with Diana, I mean, listen, you just can't compare, right? It's obvious why Diana had more of an outpouring. Rochelle, how much will Betty going out party cost the subjects? I've heard all sorts of estimates. I understand that the security alone costs about 6.4 million. That's what Sky News said. Could potentially be more. I mean, they deployed almost 10,000 officers. Lydia, I just feel like it's too much, especially after the 800 million spent on the Jubilee. Yes, and I would like to know what they spent that 800 million on. Where did that 800 million go? Because even if you had the concert, where did that 800 million go? I want an answer because I can't see where the money went. Did they spend 700 million on bunting? Like, unreal. uh Black Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, there was somebody else that gave a super sticker. I'm so sorry. I missed your name. You gave a super sticker earlier. Oh, it's Gina George Taylor. Thank you so much for your donation. I'm sorry I missed you. Black Queen, DOS, why were there no eulogies for the Queen? I was taken back that there was none at any of the service from the family, public staff, or dignitaries. That is a very good point. And I don't have an answer to that. Yeah, even Charles didn't give one, I don't think. The Archbishop said a little speech. But that's a very good question, and I don't have an answer for you. Sister Anne, the Spanish royal house was messy. The current king's brother-in-law was in prison for mishandling some charities. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's probably a lot more corruption in the family than what we know of. Marianne, the current king of Spain goes through great pain not to be photographed with his father. At the funeral, the British government set them together. Oof. You also had all of the former living prime ministers of the United Kingdom, a lot of people from the Commonwealth. You had also, right, the leaders that came in the shuttle buses. Now, I don't have a full picture of this particular shuttle bus, but people were wondering, did they literally just put all of the African leaders in one shuttle bus? Or one or two shuttle buses? Like, you wouldn't put people in shuttle buses in order of alphabet numbers? Or, what was going on here? What was going on there? Gail Lewis, I agree, Black Queen. I'm a funeral celebrant and I thought the same thing. No eulogies. There was no personal stories, so it was very formal and cold. California girl, this is all ridiculous. I want to be cremated naked and put in the ocean, and she wants to stop the world at its axis. Well, it's like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's it's for the pageantry of the establishment. That's what this is for. It's to keep people fixated and all watching. I mean, we've all been watching this show now for the last 2 weeks. I also want to be cremated though, California girl. That's very interesting that you said that. I'd like my ashes to be thrown into Victoria Falls, not the ocean. Wendy, not so many flowers thrown at the hearse as Diana's funeral. Yeah, that was quite visible. Thank you so much, Alan Renon, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. All right, so there was that. Yeah, I'm not going to say much about it, but the Hater Brigade was out. Sharon Osbourne and Piss Moron trying to get all the last pennies that they can because they know end times are coming. were on Fox News yapping away today, and they were asked about the Queen's funeral, and guess who they talked about? They talked about Meghan. Nothing else to say, apparently. There was one moment in the ceremony where it cut to Harry and Meghan, but there was a giant damn candle in the way. And World News decided to make a story out of it. That candle was protecting my good sis, protecting her from the evil eyes who were going to watch her every move. And people did pick up on, once again, the differences between the dynamics between the Sussexes and the Cambridges. Harry making sure that his wife got into the car, and William just walking straight on in, and poor Catherine just in the background there. Marcia, did Harry and Meghan leave that island? We don't know yet. We don't know. I hope they got on the Air Force One with the Bidens. So, did anyone notice if there were any Black Royal staff members? I didn't see one at all. So where's the diversity? I don't think I saw any in the staff lineup, but there was a lot kind of sprinkled between the military guards. Claudia, they wouldn't do eulogies. They were not a family. They're a firm, a business. That indeed. Okay, let me just see if there was anything else I was going to mention. Ah, yes, the world's most famous spider crept up. Now, doesn't this just tell you what people were paying attention to today? The fact that a spider would get noticed. Gate crashing the funeral. Riss Affligem posted this. My neighbor, who everyone loved, has just died. The problem is that her son was charged with S offense, and we all found out that she paid off the local constabulary with her savings from avoiding tax, and now her son won't be charged. Should we go to her funeral? You will not believe the amount of comments underneath that post that was literally folding themselves into pretzels to come up with an explanation as to why her neighbor should be sorry, as to why they should go to her neighbor's funeral. And of course, you know, she's talking about the Queen here, but, you know, saying it in like a Twitter jokey way. But it's been very disappointing how I have just seen that there are so many people who they really don't care about the negative, dark parts about this family. Like, as long as they get to see a show and they feel like they're part of that show, they really don't care. And, you know, if we're being really, really honest, Republicans are still the minority overall in the United Kingdom. Then they're still not the overwhelming majority. So we'll see how that changes with King Charles, but I wouldn't expect some, you know, massive call for a referendum or anything like that anytime soon. Oh dear, the trolls have come in. They didn't have enough of the funeral, so now they've come over here. Yes, Sonia, I'm glad the candle was blocking her, because they would have been making up all kinds of lies. Media was looking for that money shot indeed. Sylvia, I do not think you need to feel sorry for the mean girl. In my opinion, it appears William is tired of her. Now he realized what he needed in a partner. Well, time will tell when it comes to those two. You know what I mean? I think all of us here can kind of see it for what it is. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all I had to say for today. Hopefully, after all of this, we can get back to this. And hopefully, you know, Harry and Meghan can go home, heal, recuperate. I mean, they definitely need some time off. after all of this, hopefully archetypes will start again next week. And, there's I don't think there's really any reason for them to go back anytime soon. I wouldn't imagine until, Charles is 73. He's probably got a good 20 years on him before we have to do all of this again. And I can't see much of a reason for them to go back, other than I would say maybe their charities, and to see family and friends. So I'm just hoping that now after this, Harry and Meghan can have a lot more peace and can just focus on their work, focus on their family, and focus on what matters. And hopefully things will just the British media are always going to be what they're going to be, but I feel like as long as Harry and Meghan are not in the UK, it's bearable. Even for us as fans having to watch it, we can just concentrate on their work. Outsider's perspective, are we getting archetypes next week? Hopefully. Hopefully. All right, we'll just end with your comment, and that'll be it. Well done, everyone. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here the last 2 weeks. It's been interesting, and despite how I feel about monarchy, I do have an appreciation of the fact that we are witnessing and living through history. It is a very interesting time, and I think observing King Charles III's reign is going to be equally interesting. He is the first, what I'm going to call, the social media monarch, and he's going to be watched and critiqued through the lens of social media. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And yeah, we'll have a catch up tomorrow. I might do like call-ins tomorrow. Like, yeah, where do we go from here? What's next? Cian Adams, great podcast. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, have a great evening to you too. And oh yes, I did actually forget about the coronation. Sorry, like skipping 20 years into the future. Yes, the coronation is next. But we don't know if Harry and Meghan will show up to that. Mm. I pray Harry and Meghan don't go for the hideous coronation. I don't know. They might. You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised if they may. Rory, the only positive thing about this funeral is that the world now really understands how the royal family and British media have treated Harry and Meghan. Well, that 7-minute clip from the Me You Can't See has gone mega viral. Mega viral. So I think in the end, I know there's a lot of Sussex fans who don't like the idea of Harry and Meghan being in the UK ever, but I think them coming over is the best thing that they could have done. And it's worked in their favor in the end. Obviously, they came to mourn the Queen, but from a PR perspective, they've come out the winners, and it's the press and the firm who look like the bullies. I mean, there was another story, I forgot to mention it, about that Harry. This came out, I think it was in the Daily Beast and some other UK tabloids, that Harry was the last to be told, that even the media knew before Harry was told. And I don't know if they're just saying that to drum up drama, but if that does have any truth to it, it really says a lot about this family. Tony, thanks for such a great podcast. Oh, well, thank you for coming along, and I'm glad you've enjoyed reading everybody's comments. Cheryl W, pens. We need more pens for Chuck. Well, he's getting 100 million worth of taxpayers' money, so he can buy the finest pens now. Oh, always a pleasure to have you here as well, Daphne. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, Ian Adams. I wonder how much the coronation will be. Oh, we've paid for a jubbly. we've paid for a we've paid for a funeral, and now we've got to pay for coronation. And they'll probably have like another memorial or something for the summer. We're paying for all of this. But I mean, what can I say? Royalists are happy to pay for it. I'm just a tantrum throwing Republican. There's a lot of people that are actually happy to pay for all of this. They're not complaining at all. Yes, Veronica, it has literally been secondhand traumatizing. Exhausted. Thank you everyone for your kind comments. It's been lovely to have you here as well. Veronica, I can't imagine what it's been like for Harry and Meghan. Meghan looks scared for some reason. Yes, that walkabout. There was something really, really off there. Really, really, really off. No, thank you so much, Andrea, for being here. Appreciate you as well. Yeah, and yes, I hope they've packed their bags, tickets are booked, and we're back on their way to the US. All right, Ray, I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Bye, everyone. Take care. We made it Sussex strong. Fantastic, Ray. Very, very, very well said. All right, everyone. Listen, we made it. We did it, and hopefully, it will be a lot more smoother sailing going forward, and we have a lot of positive things to look forward to. So have a lovely day, y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know, certainly not in the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.